Hi, welcome to the PYA Welfare Group again, whose aim is to educate, support and guide yacht crew, ensuring your well-being is being safeguarded and empowering you with knowledge to protect your rights and to steer you in the right direction for legal and professional assistance. We consist of industry experts who volunteer our time to address the welfare needs of yacht crew, and any advice that we give is without prejudice and is also without promotion. My name is Angela Wallace. I'm purser trainer and director of interior training for the PYA, head the welfare group. And here today with me is Captain Michael Gooding. Today, we're going to focus on the second instalment of how to report incidences. And today, Michael is going to take us through bullying and harassment. So thank you, Michael, if you'd like to take it from here.
Wonderful. Thanks, Angela. I guess I just wanted to start off and talk about bullying and harassment in general. We do feel in the industry, it is unfortunately some commonplace in some parts of the industry, and we want to make sure that people have got good advice and feel like that they're being supported. So bullying and harassment, if you feel like you're being bullied and harassed, it's likely that you are. And there's lots of different types of bullying and harassment. There's all of the physical and verbal, I guess, violence that you can get with bullying and harassment. But there's also other aspects of it as well, like being shut out, if you're being excluded from different activities, or just being part of the general team. And we are, in our industry, we're such a small team that being excluded from that group is really detrimental to our well-being, and we want to make sure that you have got some support. So please reach out. So when I talk about bullying and harassment, and the first thing that I want to make sure is that you feel safe, that you don't feel threatened, and again, being able to reach out if you do feel like that's going to occur. And then from there, also being able to reach out to get some guidance on what you need to do. When you first get on board a boat, typically, hopefully, you have a seaman's employment agreement. And most flag states, or all flag states, have got a requirement for that employment agreement to have some sort of grievance procedure. So I would recommend, first of all, when you get on board the boat, being able to read that, being able to understand if there is some circumstances where you're being bullied or harassed, that you have got a clear path of what to do. There are some procedures that can be followed, and a lot of them are about recording, making sure that you have all of the right information, that if you are being bullied or harassed, that there's some sort of evidence. And I know that that's hard sometimes, especially if you are being bullied and harassed. It's quite an emotional period. So trying to make sure that that's okay. So I'm going to try and make sure that what I'm going to say is fairly correct. I've taken a sample of a procedure on a boat, and I'm going to read it out just to make sure that I have all of the right terminology and everything for you. So bear with me while I read this. So first of all, like I said, the ship and the company should have a grievance procedure on board, and typically that will be in relation to if you are feeling aggrieved, and then you can follow some steps. So first of all, a grievance is a clear statement by an employee of a work-related problem, concern or complaint, including persons or equipment involved. So it's making sure that there is some sort of clear understanding of what that bullying and harassment is. If an employee has a concern about the way that they are being treated in the workplace, or the way in which a situation directly affecting them has been handled, they have a right to raise their concern. And typically when you have a concern, it's possible that it's your supervisor, but if it's not, typically you would go through the chain of command. So you've got your supervisor, there might be a quality assurance person on board who might be a grievance officer. Then you have the captain, and then your DPA, your designated person ashore, and then you've also got the flag state. The employee must have provided their immediate supervisor with an opportunity to resolve the issue in the first instance. The company must ensure that all employees know about and are able to access the grievance procedure. And that's why I say trying to make sure that when you join the boat, that you actually go through your employment agreement and make sure that there is something in place. An employee who reports a grievance will be provided with the information on the course of action, including options that may be taken. And again, this is something that Flagstate have tried to promote and try to make sure that there is a pathway involved. The quality assurance representative in this particular case is the company grievance manager. So it depends on the company. They'll possibly have a different manager to be able to handle that. But in this particular case, it was the QA representative. All grievance matters are confidential and are not to be discussed with other employees or persons outside the company. And again, trying to make sure that you're protected and you can follow those procedures and make sure that you're okay. And a record must be kept of all meetings with it when a grievance is discussed, ensuring confidentiality and access to records by the employees concerned. Some of the boats or some of the ships and the companies will have forms that you can complete. Some may not, but it's understanding. And quite often, if we have someone that raises an issue or raises a concern about bullying and harassment, some of the first questions that we will ask is, what procedure do you have on board? So that we can make sure that there's some assistance there. And then we can understand, first of all, what your grievance is, and then hopefully be able to guide you with the direction in relation to the particular procedure on board your boat. And again, they'll change a little bit as you go. If you can't get a resolution with your going through that procedure, then obviously you can still go on to other avenues. And again, your grievance procedure should highlight that with the different authorities. And again, just being able to reach out to make sure that mentally you're okay. And for us, that's an important part.
Absolutely. I think also it might be an idea to kind of think about, because documentation is quite crucial when we are bringing it to the awareness of the company or the captain. What sort of documentation would be viable as a captain? If somebody came to you saying that they are being bullied or harassed by another crew member, what sort of documentation or what sort of avenue, or how would you be supportive for them, and how would you investigate it?
The first part for us is to make sure that, and again, make sure that they're safe. Talk to them about their concerns and ask them if they're comfortable with us approaching the other person or the other people that are involved. Again, it's a very small community, and trying to make sure that there's I'm going to say to some extent, a happy environment is really important. So if we can, first of all, establish it and make sure that they're comfortable with us raising that concern with the other people that are involved. Because the last thing that we want to do is make it so that we then confront other people and then it aggravates the situation. So to some extent, as a captain, we're a mediator. So we want to try and make sure that everyone's okay. Be able to talk to the other person involved. Documentation is really important. And then the other part about that is that if it's an initial raising of a concern, then the documentation would typically be dates, times, what was discussed or how it was portrayed, and be able to see if there's some sort of, is it a once-off or is it a continued thing? I would think that the captain, if it is something that's happened previously, the captain should have some idea. And also it's up to the captain to make sure that everyone's rights are protected. sort of if someone is being bullied and harassed, first of all, have them come up with I guess, the circumstances and hopefully some sort of insight into dates, times, and frequency, and then be able to talk to them about, are you comfortable with me raising it with the other person? Are you comfortable with us having a joint discussion about the issue? And then being able to go from there. And the other thing is, as captains, we don't have all of the answers. So I would also be able to rely on other resources, whether it's the management company, if there is a situation that I feel like I can't handle. And that's a really important part as well.
Absolutely. And I think, it's so important to, as a captain, as well, just to reinforce that there is no place for bullying and harassment on board. It's too small a space, and it really should be nipped into the bud. So don't be afraid to come forward and to report and go to your captain. So thank you so much. Well, I hope that's been very helpful. Thank you so much, Michael. So please do feel free to email us at welfare@pya.org. We will request some information from you, such as the flag of the vessel, whether you're under a management company, if you're MLC compliant and so forth. That all of that information does help us in able to help you. So the next recording, we're going to look at challenges, the challenges to report, and there's a lot. We know that. We are very aware of that. So we want to explore that on our next recording. So keep your eye out for it. We'll keep you posted, and we look forward to hearing from you. So until next time, thanks very much.